Hey everyone, it's Alan Thornton, President and CEO of St. John's Community Services, back for another episode of Advocates for All. And this month is a really special month for SJCS. So nationally, there is Direct Support Professional Week, which honors the individuals, our team members that work the front lines and provide the direct care services to those we support, and essentially help them live their very best life. Well, at SJCS, we are highlighting all month of September our direct support professionals. And with me today, and he's coming from literally his work site in support of an individual, is Eddie Allen. And Eddie, thank you for taking the time to join us today. And I won't take too much of your time, but I really appreciate the fact that you were able to make time and join us today on Advocates for All.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So Eddie, you and I talked before. I've got a little bit of your background. You know, if I remember correctly, you've been in the field of intellectual and developmental disabilities and working and supporting individuals. I want to say it's something like 25 years. Am I close to
26? Yes, sir.
26 years. And you've done that with a couple different organizations, correct? You were with one before you came to St. John's?
Correct. The agency that was in operation before St. John's took over. So I've been working with a lot of the same group of individuals for 26 years.
Wow, that is first of all remarkable and deserving of a huge thank you from all of us to you, just for how selfless that is. You've given pretty much your whole adult life to this work of supporting other individuals. And just to be clear, geographically, you are in Martin, Tennessee, correct?
Correct.
Right. So, all right. So how, give us a brief idea of how you got into this work. And then also, you've been doing it for 26 years. You obviously love it. Tell us why that is. What is it about the work that you love so much?
Well, as far as getting into it, I'll go way back, because when I was in Boy Scouts, I think around junior high age, and I went to a camp, and I was hanging out with my friends, but I ran up on a troop that was a mixture of developmentally and physically disabled young men. And I ended up pushing a guy around in a wheelchair and then made really good friends with his buddy who was Down syndrome. And I ended up pretty much spending that whole week hanging out with them. So that was really my first, with the exception of a few people I knew, in my school, that was my first interaction with this population. And I guess maybe that stuck with me. So I went into college, not really sure what I was going to do. And I finally decided on social work. And when it came time to start doing internships and actual hands-on stuff, CDS, which was the local agency at that time, is where I went. And I kind of went there and I spent an entire semester working with the agency social worker who was based at that time, the Sheltered Workshop. So whenever I graduated college, I kind of remained there and was hired in at the Sheltered Workshop and have never left. And moved on from there into supported employment and obviously doing some of the community stuff. And I am really an employment specialist, but I, kind of do wherever they need me. The way I've been, I've worked in about 8 different for employment sites and about 6 or 7 different houses in the last year. So just kind of wherever they can plug me in, which is fine. I mean,
just to provide some context, COVID, during the pandemic, a lot of our employment sites haven't been operational, obviously for good reasons. And so we've had team members like yourself volunteer to move from what they would have been doing normally during the day and supporting individuals out in the community, either volunteering or in employment, or going about their daily lives, and into a residential setting. And so you're actually coming at us from a residential setting right now, which is,
yes,
is you've got your mask on, which is
right.
You're working in on-site in support of somebody and keeping them safe, which is great.
Right. So we kind of do employment where we can, where folks are working, and then I'm filling in to fill gaps in resident. Well, it's not really residential, but it is at their home. We're not doing. They don't consider day residential necessarily, but we are in a residential site right now. So.
Right. So Eddie, before I ask you another question, why do you do what you do? I mean, you've been doing it for 26 years in some way, shape, or form. There's a couple parts of your story I want to get into, but before we get there, what is it that motivates you? Like, why do you do what you do? I mean, it sounds like you had the two individuals you met in Boy Scouts had a profound impact on you, and that you did some internship work, but is there a deeper kind of motivation that drives you?
Um, Not really. I just feel like that I've been able to have a positive impact on a lot of different people's lives. And having been in the field as long as I have, being a steady part of their lives, there's so much turnover that unfortunately happens with staff in this field. And I've known the three individuals that I'm working with today, I have known two of them for the entire 26 years I've been working here. And there's a lot of that. This year I've been working in Martin and in Paris, and I've met some new folks that I haven't worked with so much. So, one day I'll be working at a job site with somebody I've known 26 years, and the next day it might be somebody I've only been working with a few months. But I just really enjoyed working with our individuals, everything that I've done, and I can't see doing anything different.
No, it's really, it seems that it's such a calling. You referenced that there's high turnover. Yeah, definitely in the industry, the turnover rate for frontline positions can be at times as high as 40%. And I think there's a lot of reasons why that can be. But I think, part of it is it can be a very challenging job. But the interesting thing about St. John's, and I think, what I'd like you to kind of speak to a little bit is it's not that you're caring for, I mean, you are a caregiver and you support individuals, but you're really supporting them. The individuals are the ones that are living their lives. You're trying to help them do that with as much independence and interdependence as possible, right?
Exactly, and that's what I tell when I'm on these job sites, especially working with other job coaches that are St. John's and some that aren't. Well, they'll ask me things, and I'll say that's what you have to do with all of our folks is learn. If you don't know them, learn their personality, learn their limitations or their abilities, however you want to say it, for each individual job. And some folks need you to be kind of hands-on almost, and some folks you can kind of step back and say, hey guy, you can do that, I know you can do that, I'm just going to watch, and if you need me, let me know. And so you just kind of have to, we talk about individualism so much, and that's always true. Everybody has different needs and different abilities, and you just kind of work with whoever you have and support them however they need, whether it's a lot or a little.
Yeah, it's the person-centered approach. It's meeting a person, an individual where they are, and seeing for them like the possibilities, understanding what their hopes are, what their interests are. That's a big part of your employment piece is dialing into what their interests are, what motivates them, and maybe trying to find that right fit that a person could really express themselves through their jobs, through their work, and really find a lot of fulfillment in doing so.
And you see a lot of where you see issues in employment is sometimes you get somebody that really has a lot of ability, and maybe that job coach isn't familiar with them, and they're maybe, I don't want to say providing too much support, but maybe they're hovering a little too close. And that individual realizes, hey, I've got more ability than that, back off and give me some space, right? So sometimes you can actually provide too much support to that individual where it's in their best interest and yours to kind of step back and let them breathe a little bit and let them spread their wings, so to speak. And so you have to learn that, yeah.
I think that's great because that is exactly, that's life for all of us, right?
Right.
As we all grow and develop and we're learning, we get help from people along the way. But there comes points where we step up, where we realize, hey, I got this, we can do this. And it's a joy to see the individuals we support self-actualize and realize that for themselves and step into that. And it's important for people to hear and understand what you're saying, because again, it's not that you are taking care of the individuals that you're supporting. You're really trying to empower and support them to be all that they can be and really live their life to the fullest. And I just think it's tremendous. One more topic I want to touch on, because in the 26 years, and you referenced the sheltered workshop environment, and then there was a big movement, and St. John's was on the front edge of that movement in going community-based, and the idea of shuttering the workshops, really believing in inclusion and integration, getting people understanding what their dreams and aspirations are, and helping them find that in the community. So you've been like part of that front edge. You went from working in that sheltered environment to getting people their own apartments, getting people their own jobs in the community. That has to be a tremendously fulfilling, like to see that over the course of your career, to see the impact on the people that you supported.
It is, and I was a part of a really good team at our sheltered workshop setting, and we always had the, having a job in the community mindset. We even ran that facility as if, hey, you guys pretend that you're working out in the community, take this seriously when we're working. And we had our fun too. I was kind of the party planner that, helped with that kind of thing. So we had the fun aspect of it, but we were serious about work, and we tried to prepare our individuals as much as possible for the outcome of being in the community. And a lot of them have luckily transitioned into that. And all of them, of course, that have gotten into their own homes love that. Who doesn't want to have their own place? So yeah, I've definitely seen a lot and experienced a lot, and being flexible and adaptable is very important in this field. If you're expecting everything to stay the same and be like it is even today, I promise you it's going to change. That's the one constant we have in this field, is change.
Well, in 2020 has demonstrated that, in some sobering ways. One of the questions that you said, I just love: who doesn't want to have their own place? I think there was a time when there was a very kind of paternalistic kind of perspective that we know best. And I think it's great to see this movement continue. It's great to see people making their own decisions and living their lives. I think that's tremendous. And it's amazing that someone has been alongside of them for 26 years, helping in support of them. That's just tremendous, Eddie. Just in wrapping up, how have you been managing personally through the pandemic? What are some of the things you've been doing to cope and kind of do self-care and just kind of help, stay centered and be able to come to work every day in support of individuals?
I've been very fortunate. I have worked the entire time. I've been doing a lot of different things work-wise. I've been more limited outside of work than I have at work. Honestly, I'm normally travel a lot, and of course that's been restricted, that kind of thing. But basically, when I'm not at work these days, I'm at home with my wife and dogs, and out on. We've just redone our house, and I've got a nice, fairly large patio area, so I'm outside enjoying the weather and trying to relax and hoping, like everybody, that COVID starts going away and we can get back to some sense of normal. But
yeah, we're all looking forward to that time when this is behind us, and
yes,
certainly. But in the meanwhile, again, I just want to say thank you, especially during this time of the pandemic. Folks like yourself, what you've been doing, you've been a hero to so many people. And you're a hidden hero in many ways, because you're working in a home, you're working alongside an individual. It's not out in front, right? It's not necessarily in the public eye. And I just want to say thank you so much, because it's very selfless acts that you have demonstrated to those that are in your care and that you support. And you're a tremendous ambassador for St. John's and just for all of humanity. And I just want to say thank you so very much, Eddie.
Thank you, Al.